U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's incoming cabinet is taking shape. Who has he picked for his second term in the Oval Office, and why them? We are joined by Chris Casquejo, Voice of America correspondent. Welcome back, Chris.
Good to be with you.
So, Chris, it looks like his new team is being made up of his loyalists, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's moving a lot faster than he did 8 years ago. And from the first appointment, we've seen Trump choose people that he trusts for influential positions. He chose his campaign manager, Susie Wiles, as his chief of staff. He chose Lee Zeldin, a congressman, to lead the EPA, or Environmental Protection Agency. Zeldin defended Trump during his first impeachment trial. He's also selected Congresswoman Elise Stefanik from New York to be the U.S. ambassador to the UN. She's been one of Israel's strongest defenders since the October 7th Hamas attacks and become one of the strongest voices in favor of Israel in Congress. She also led those highly visible House hearings into how college presidents handled protests on their campuses a couple of falls ago. And it's worth noting that she wasn't always a Trump supporter. She voted against his tax cuts, but backed Trump in his 2019 impeachment trial. And this is different from the first time around when Trump butted heads with his key appointees, particularly those in intelligence, national security, and law enforcement communities, several of whom later recounted that Trump tried to get them to institute very controversial policies, but they tried to slow walk them or not follow his orders.
Right, and also included in the new team is Florida Representative Mike Waltz. We have to talk about him being picked as a national security advisor. Now, what do we know about Waltz, and what kind of foreign policy is he expected to play?
Well, we know Waltz has been one of the most vocal critics of China in Congress. He serves on the China Task Force, and he sponsored legislation to restrict government funding from U.S. universities with ties to China. He also served on the Armed Services Committee and the Foreign Affairs Committee. He's been broadly supportive of U.S. aid to Ukraine and its fight against Russia, but more recently, he's talked about walking back the sort of blank check approach that Trump has criticized the Biden administration with its support of Ukraine. Regarding North Korea, Trump's reported choice for U.S. Secretary of State, the top diplomat in his administration, Marco Rubio, has predicted a pragmatic foreign policy under the Trump administration, citing the need for adaptability in a world where countries like North Korea, Iran, China, and Russia are increasingly working together. And he said it's going to require a very pragmatic and wise approach about how the U.S. invests overseas and in what we do, he said in an interview with CNN.
Well, on top of that, Trump transition official Mark Paoletta has warned Justice Department staff against, so-called resistance. What is this all about?
Yeah, it's a warning to any attorneys or staff who plan to resist Trump's plans, whether it's pardoning January 6th rioters or commuting the sentences of those who have already been convicted. Something that Trump had signaled he was going to do on the campaign trail. So we'll have to see whether he follows through with that. Now, Paoletta warned that any of these employees in the DOJ, whether they be attorneys or staffers, who are not on board with Trump's agenda could face disciplinary action, including getting fired.
Well, the election is over, and Trump will lead the country starting next January. What happens to his legal cases now then?
Well, there was a development today in that New York hush money case. A judge postponed a decision on whether to throw out that conviction in that case, and the ruling is delayed until next week so that prosecutors can suggest the way forward. Meanwhile, special counsel Jack Smith is evaluating how to wind down the cases against Donald Trump, the classified documents case, and the election interference case involving, January 6th. Because of the long-standing Justice Department policy that says that they're not going to indict sitting president, and Trump, for his part, has promised to fire Smith shortly after he takes office.
Well, all eyes are on Tesla CEO Elon Musk and his role in the Trump administration. And it looks like his presence is only getting stronger in the Trump 2.0. What's the latest?
Yeah, we just got word within the last half hour or so that Trump is tapping Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who was one of his rivals in the Republican primary, to lead what he's calling the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, as it's shortened to be
Right.
after Dogecoin, Elon Musk cryptocurrency. And this is going to be a kind of an outside consultant looking at where to trim government waste. And Trump believes that they can trim $6 trillion in government waste. And he has given them until July 4th, 2026 to do their work. But again, it's important to note that this is not an official role within the government. I mean, it probably is not going to be wise for Elon Musk to join in any official capacity because his stock jumped by $70 billion after the election. So, we're going to have to see what's going to happen with some of the contracts. We think he might influence EV policy with regards to how the U.S. pursues tariffs against China. We think he may have a say in those areas, but it's not going to be in an official capacity. The only official title he has is to lead this Department of Government Efficiency with Vivek Ramaswamy.
So many developments in the past week, and also more to come in the coming weeks. Chris, thanks as always for connecting with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Good to see you.